Thank you, Cassie. All right, so good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Officially in spring, even though it's a little dreary, but yesterday was a beautiful day. I was bummed I didn't get to spend more time outside. I'm going to share screen. Oh, Cassie, can I share screen, please?
All right, there we go.
Thank you. So I'm sharing screen. I just wanted to go over the survey results with you guys. Thank you for completing the survey. This year we had 17 people respond, a little bit lower than last year, but I do acknowledge that this year it felt a little rushed and we could have done a better job promoting the link. So let's just dive right in and go through the results that we've received so far. So we asked what percentage of meetings were attended. Most part, we had a pretty good, like 75% to 100. About 23% of people said they attended 50% of the meetings. And then we asked some questions about the main reasons why you did not attend. And I mean, timing conflicting with other meetings and interview days, which is always a tough one. And that was to be expected, but we do like to ask in case there's something that we could tweak on our end. Overall satisfaction with Zoom option, I was impressed, 100%. Okay, we take it. Um, and then the following question was recorded meetings. Have you accessed the recordings? And it's split pretty evenly between yes and no. Just as a reminder that all these meetings are recorded and they can be found in MedHub under the calendar section. And if you need any help finding those, Cassie can help you, or we can show really quickly on this call at any point so that you can access them. It's pretty straightforward. I want to say it's like 2 clicks, and you can go back up to a year, which I find really helpful because sometimes I'm trying to figure out like what's to come, or I feel like, oh, we've discussed this already. Let me see what was done, in September or something like that, and it's very easily to pull up. The next one is this one we bring up because we used to do longer like quarterly meetings, and now we're doing shorter monthly ones. And it seems like people are still mostly interested in the shorter monthly ones. So thank you for that feedback. We'll continue with the same monthly meetings that we have going on now. And then we pivot to the newsletter. Newsletter's been monthly. That seems to be working fine versus a quarterly newsletter. And then we did ask about what additional information you would like to see that we're currently not sharing. There was mention of a tech corner, coordinator development sessions, and someone just said the current format is nice, which is great. Thank you for that feedback. If there's anything that you would like us to tweak or add, don't hesitate to reach out to Cassie Wildminster or anyone on the Coordinator Advisory Committee, and we can tweak that as well. Um, this next question is asking, are you getting the correct information to enable you to do your job effectively? And so far we have 100% yes, so thank you for that. And then things that you would like us to change in how we run the meetings this year. So far, no change, but if you have an idea, then don't hesitate to share that with us and maybe we can incorporate it. Who knows, maybe we can encourage you to lead that idea depending on what it is and get some involvement from you. Um, we discussed a little bit coordinator advisory committee and would you be interested in joining? We did receive a few yes. I will reach out to the advisory committee. I'm not aware that anyone has reached out recently besides Dave DeMarzio. So we will be, it was announced in the newsletter, and Dave is our newest advisory committee member. But if anyone else would like to join us, then just reach out to anyone on the committee. The names are there. They're also on every single newsletter. And we would love to have you join us. And if you have any questions about what the advisory committee entails or anything like that, once again, just reach out to us and we can give you a little bit more info on that. Uh, Now we're going to pivot to GME office feedback. So, here's the graph on are you getting the information you need when you need it? And these pretty much the 0 or 1 is, I think it's never, and then 5 is always. So, it seems like we're doing pretty well with the information. Um, And then your level of satisfaction with the GME staff. 13 people are very satisfied. One person is neutral. And 4 people are, mostly satisfied. So um, thank you for that. The amount of information. This one is tricky because we get so much information from GME. So, overall it's on the right-hand side of the graph, which is always good. But if, we want the feedback, but I did want to share what we received so far. This question about what kind of information are you currently receiving and your level of satisfaction. The response was policies for attendance and leave. Um, while we see that response, I'm unsure if that means that you are currently like satisfied with that information or you're unsatisfied with that information, but we will look at that and try to make sure it's all in the MedHub and the onboarding folder. All right, now the frequency of the delivery. Overall satisfied on the right-hand side. So, that's well. These 2 responses I did want to just touch upon very briefly. Someone did state that they appreciate shorter emails that focus specifically on topics over longer emails that contain so much information, which absolutely understandable. We can discuss that a little bit further. We used to do a lot of shorter emails, and last year and the year before, we received the feedback that it was too many shorter emails, and that's why we pivoted to the longer emails. And now we're relying heavily on the Google folder, and all of the information is there. But we can maybe create bulleted shorter emails that have links to certain things, or we can discuss a way to kind of incorporate something that may be more useful when you're searching your inbox for emails. Um, and then the immigration and visa related updates. I have a couple on visa, so I fully understand how complicated that can be. And we can definitely just have additional links with that information that we can provide. And they also do a session for the coordinator. So I don't know if the person that made that comment is a newer coordinator, but they always do a session with the coordinators, usually right when we're starting interviews, because it is important to know what visas we offer so that we give the applicants the correct information. And that is also recorded, so we can get you that information as well, or show you where to retrieve it from on MedHub. Now, this is more about the accuracy, inaccuracy of content, and right now, very satisfied is, with the accuracy is where we're at. With comments and examples, list could be more current before asking coordinators to communicate with residents fellows about outstanding items needed, and post call and leave policy. So I will say that I myself have been frustrated with, especially this last module that just went out, because I had 2 or 3 of my residents that had their certification, like their certificate of completion. Did you want to chime in, Cassie? I just saw you
That
raise
had
your.
nothing to do with me. That list came from clinical HRIS. I told him months ago that this is what's going to happen if you don't involve GME. And, I know people, we ran into the same issue when the thing was first assigned, that people were completing it, not getting their certificates. I'm so sorry for the confusion on that. He's working on it. That Chris Slocum guy. It's so out of GME's hands. I'm so sorry. It's been such a disaster with that one. That one's because it's an outside, like you go to the link for the module and it's an outside thing, and sometimes they're not connecting from the Avade to HR to HealthStream. That's a them problem, and they're making it an us problem, and I've got enough problems. So I'm sorry about that. He is double checking everything, looking on the Avade side to update the HealthStream side. So hopefully I'll have a new spreadsheet soon. But if any of your people haven't done it, please make sure that they go in and do it. It was due January 6th. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I was going to add in that I actually spoke with Chris myself because I had 3 trainees that not only had they completed it, but they 2 out of the 3 had kept the certificate of completion. So it was an easy like, here you go, it's been completed, like remove them from the list. Um, and he chimed in and said, yes, absolutely. I apologize. I'm working on this myself. So he took ownership and he's going to rectify and clean up that list. Um, so just thank you everyone for dealing with us and bearing with it. Cassie, there is a question in the chat about when the next list will go out again for this. I'm not sure.
I'm hoping he's gonna send me another list. I don't know. I told him, like, you gotta, when it comes to residents and fellows, you gotta keep us involved because they don't do their health streams. And he was like, oh no, we'll be fine. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me know
I
how
will,
that goes.
yeah. I will say that when I spoke to him yesterday, he was like, the list is so small. I think I'll just reach out to each of them individually.
He
And I
said
was
that,
like,
and I was like,
okay.
have fun. I don't have the time for that, but if you do, knock your socks off.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he's gonna own that one. And we'll see how it goes.
On a similar note, I just want to mention like the same thing with the school. I know there was frustration with the I'm sorry, the school IS security training. They send the list to Dr. DeMarco actually is the one that received it, and she sent it out to people. And those are the folks that, their email was going to be shut off if it was not completed by March 31st. We did hear from one program that felt like GME was threatening the residents, with shutting off their email, and it was going to, complicate their ability to do their work. And we're always just the intermediary. Stuff sort of filters through us, and then we end up looking like the bad guy. It's not our policy to say, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to shut off your email. It has nothing to do with us. It's simply institutional compliance rules. So I think sometimes we sort of get blamed for when things don't work out well, but we're only as good as the information that's provided to us because we have no way of knowing, what's real and what isn't. We just sort of pass on the message, but
being a
so we try and do our best.
The residents find it very confusing with different modules from group, school, etc. They feel that they are duplicate modules, and that may well be the case, but the school side is saying that they have to do these modules. The clinical side is saying they have to do these modules for compliance. It's not coming from us. It's not coming from us at all. This is school and clinical that they have to get these things done. Faculty have to do it too. We have to do it. Like anyone that's dual employed has to do both sides modules. GME has absolutely nothing to do with it. We're being told to tell you guys. So, and I know that's going to be just, nothing to the residents, but there's literally nothing we can do about it.
No, this is something what I was trying to say is can this be brought up to the management and say that these securities are the same ones? So why can't
But they're two different sides and they're for two different compliances.
Yeah, Bina, we had
There's
that
nothing we can do
conversation when
about
they first released the modules. We said this is not going to go over well because people are going to say we've already done this, but they said, but we reviewed the clinical and it does not meet our requirements on the school side.
Yeah.
So we have our own, and they need to do it if they need a umassmed.edu email. So, we barked up that tree and we were told no. And, it's just, it is unfortunate because I know that they spend a lot of time doing these modules, and when they're repetitive, it's sort of, even more frustrating. But yeah, they work for two, they're working in and are employed by a different organization, so they have different compliance.
Yeah, I have found my workaround for that problem is more educating the trainees that if you want to work at a teaching institution, this is the norm across the board. I've talked to coordinators at other institutions, and unfortunately, when you're dealing with two entities, if you want to be a teaching physician working in a teaching hospital, you have to deal with this part of it, and it's part of your professionalism. The faculty members all have to do it, which Cassie mentioned. So like my program director will say, yeah, I just finished it as well. It was annoying. So it's, we acknowledge that it's annoying, but unfortunately it must be done, which is a lose-lose. Oh. The post call and leave policies for the institution, like the GME ones, are on the MedHub. Now, I do know a lot of RRCs are just being more nitpicky about you having one specific for your program. So if that's something that you need help with, you can reach out to GME or to some of us for examples of the policies that we have, and we can share with you, and then you can create your own.
I think didn't we have to do that when we were doing union stuff? Everyone had to, or was that just surrounding maternity and paternity stuff, Melissa?
Yeah, that was yeah, all the programs needed to submit that parenting guideline, which sort
parenting.
of outlines what you can take off for time before you have to extend, what your board requirements are, what kind of supports are in place, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I think post call and leave. I mean, some of that is part of duty hours, I think, you know, like how are they to be scheduled if they're post call?
At the next MedHub Monday, I'll go through resources and documents and kind of show you guys where to find policies, where to find these recordings. Because I did that with the GME office a couple of months ago, went through all the resources and documents. So we kind of have a better understanding of where everything is. And there's a table of contents for all resources and documents in MedHub in the coordinator handbook. At the very, very end, I have every document. So if you just do like a search through the coordinator handbook, especially at that appendix at the end, there's a list of every single folder and every single document. So I'll show you guys that at the next MedHub Monday. I'll make a note of that.
Thank you, Cassie. I will also say there are a lot of updates that are coming out now in 2023. So make sure you read your program requirements and see what those updates are. On ACGME, you can find track changes. Just something to kind of keep up with, something I noticed. And every once in a while, I think when those things come out, I'm sure your specialty, you know, specialty groups will reach out to you and say, hey, these updates are upcoming. But just something to keep in mind. And I do know they had open responses for quite a few programs on ACGME regarding some tweaks and updates that they wanted to put forth. So if there is something for your specialty, I always forward that to my PD and say, hey, these are the changes they want to put into play. Chime in if you'd like. All right. And then this last part is just like overall GME feedback. It seems like most of it is positive with one in between. I'm assuming that in between just means neutral, where it's not overly positive nor overly negative, but 90% of the comments are all positive. So thank you for that. I can download this and share it with you guys if you would like, but this is the info from our survey. So thank you so much. If there's anything else that you guys think we should incorporate, tweak, adapt, just reach out to us and we will try our best to put it into play. All right, any questions about that? I know that was a lot. It was like fast and just a lot. All right. So if we're all set with that, I will pivot to Cassie. I know Cassie wanted to talk about rolling over the year. I did stop sharing, so you can share and we can go from there.
Awesome. All right, I gotta figure out the best way to do this. So we're gonna pop this over here.
Dina, did you have a question or are you talking through a trainee or something?
All right. Okay, are you guys seeing the presentation screen or the actual slides? Slides, cool, awesome. All right, so let me shut my door real quick. So I know there was a handful of you at the MedHub Monday meeting on this past Monday to talk about the difference, the rotations and sites and how that all connects. I'm gonna go over that again because like I said, there was only a handful of you there, and I'm gonna kind of stress again how rotations and sites connect and why it's so important, those spreadsheets that I sent you guys, and why those are so important to have those cleaned up and fixed. and how that ties into rolling over the academic year. I'm going to show you how to do it. This is, kind of old hat for our coordinators that have been here for a while, or if you need a refresher, or if you're a brand new coordinator, what do you mean rolling over the academic year? I'm going to show you what that all means. So to roll over your academic year, this means creating a rotation schedule for the new academic year, because right now you only have your 22 to 23. So you need next year's. And when you do that, all the names will populate, all of your new incoming will populate as well, because I literally just put them into MedHub right before this started. So to do this, you go to your homepage, you scroll down to the bottom to site manage, to the header site management, and then under there is task wizards. You click on that. There's a whole bunch of task wizards in there. Please do not ever run any of those task wizards except for the new schedule task wizard. It's the only thing you need to run on that page. Everything else GME handles. Please do not do any other wizard. So you click on new schedule wizard. A little window is going to pop up. It's going to ask you to select your group and academic year. So obviously the new one, the 23 to 24. And then it's going to ask you to select your schedule. If you're one of those programs that has multiple schedules, depending on your PGY level, all of them are going to be listed here, and you're going to have to do this series of steps for each schedule. So all of them create a new academic year. If you just have one, you just got to do this once. So then the next step is going to be asking you about your rotation periods. If you want to change how your rotation periods look, you can certainly do that. If you want to use the same ones that you've been using for the past however long, absolutely. You just click on use previous year's rotations and click next step. If you want to change them up, use your months, define rotation periods, start it from certain start dates. Absolutely. However you want to do it, it's your rotation schedule. As long as it's in there, you're good. I do have the list of blocks. I think I emailed this out. I can't remember if I did. I can re-email it, but it's the block schedule for next year. And this is based off of the review period dates for duty hours. So this is, your 4 weeks, every 4 weeks. Block one's going to be 30 days. Everything else is 28. Yeah, block one's the only one that's kind of off. Everything else is 28 days.
If it's a new program, which one do you recommend I click on?
I prefer months. I like months.
Months to month. Okay.
It's really kind of up to you guys. If you guys do work with internal medicine at all, do you release your residents to internal medicine at all? Because internal medicine goes by the blocks, the 4 weeks. So I would recommend using that if you interact with internal medicine at all. But you and me can discuss it offline if you want.
Okay, thank you.
It's exciting having a new program. Lucky you.
Thanks.
I was gonna say, I have 3 different programs, and one uses months, one uses blocks, one uses 2 weeks. So it's pretty much whatever makes most sense for your program and their flow.
Yeah. How long do you think your rotations are going to be? Are they a month? Are they, do you change weekly? Do you have, do you do a 4 plus, X plus Y? Like there's a bunch of different options. So we can always chat.
Okay, thank you.
After you choose what your blocks are going to look like, the next screen is this what you want it to be? Just double check if you need to modify anything, if you need to move things around or anything. And then you click next step. So now some of you, I had been telling you when you sent me back those spreadsheets, like you were like, oh, I want to delete these rotations, This is where you can do it for your next academic year. This step here, they're going to show you a list of all your rotations. You get to go through and click delete, 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 delete if you're not going to use them. So you only pull forward what you need. I know there's a bunch of programs that want to clean up things because you've just been kind of carrying rotations from way back when we first started MedHub. This is when you get to clean it up. Because once you schedule a rotation, you can't delete it. once you put it in the schedule, it's not able to be deleted. So this is the time to do your cleanup. Take your time with it. You've got time. So what you want to do is just say, pull previous year's services and pull all associated shifts and team structures. So that way, all of your rotations pull forward right now, and now you get to edit them. So you just go through and delete the ones that you don't need. What I have been doing while I'm doing my cleanup, you guys sent me all those spreadsheets back. I'm going through fixing all the sites. If you let me know what rotations you want deleted, I've been going through and changing the names of the rotations to say delete. So that way you know exactly which one's got to be deleted. I will show you an example of what I mean. I did it for psychiatry yesterday. So I'll show you an example of what I mean and what that's going to look like for you. So you check your rotations, make sure everything looks hunky-dory, delete the ones you don't need. And then it'll just say, do next step. And then it's going to be like, okay, you're done. So really, if you don't have any changes, if there's nothing big going on with you, it's like 5 clicks to have a new rotation schedule. These are just some reminders. So I am working on cleaning up the sites. I'd prefer you not to roll over your schedule until I reach out to you to let you know that I've done all my cleanup. So I'm working, I've got onboarding going on too. So I'm trying to get this done within the next week or so. But once I let you know, you have until April 30th to roll over and create your new calendar. That doesn't mean that you have to put rotations in. That just means I need you to do this task wizard. Because with that, I need you to roll over your calendar so that way I can upload the work hour review periods, this spreadsheet here. Because what I do is I send this list to MedHub and they do it for me. Otherwise, I have to go in and type in each date, each rotation for every single schedule. Please don't make me do that. Please, 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 please don't make me do that. It just makes our jobs a heck of a lot easier. So please have that done by April 30th. I'll send reminders. And if you need to talk about it, you need to figure some things out, I'm happy to schedule some time with you. Also a reminder for newer coordinators, is if this is your first time doing schedules, when you roll over your academic year, you don't have to put your rotation schedule in right away. You can hold off, you can wait. But if it's attached to evaluations, you want to make sure that's done before your new year starts. The only requirement that you have when it comes to putting in rotation schedule is you have to have July, August, and September filled in by the end of September. And that's because the financial year, the fiscal year and the academic year do not line up. Our fiscal year ends September 30th. So after that, that's when IRIS goes back. The IRIS folks pull all the data from October 22 to September 2023. So everything from October 2022 to September 2023 needs to be filled in, accurate. Any changes that you need from last year need to be made, because I think at the end of October of this year, I cannot unlock anything further back for you. I can't even do it. MedHub can't do it. It's locked. It's final. So please make sure you get July, August, September in there by the end of September. I will send you a million reminders on this, so don't worry. Another big thing, elective rotations. You can't just call something an elective. It has to be, elective cardiology, elective OBGYN. IRIS needs to know what that elective is and where it's taking place. You can't just call something an elective. It's too broad. It doesn't make sense for IRIS. If you are unsure, I know some programs don't know what trainees are doing for their elective until, a couple weeks before. That's fine. Leave it blank. Leave it blank for now. When you do know, and if you don't have a rotation for that specific elective, you need to create one. Each elective rotation takes place at different sites, I'm assuming. You know, like if you're doing NICU, that's down at Memorial. If you're doing anesthesia, that's up here at University. If you're doing an away elective, that's at that site. You need to have a rotation with that site attached to it. I'm gonna, oh, I did put this in here. Good. I was gonna go over to MedHub to show you how to do that, but I did put slides in. So in order to create a rotation, it's very, very simple. Again, it's just a handful of clicks. You hover over schedules, you go to service shift management. Make sure you're in the correct academic year. If you've rolled over your schedule, if you've rolled over your academic year, there's going to be 2 different years here. So if you need to create a rotation for 23 to 24, make sure you're not creating it in 22, 23, because it's not going to pull. You've already done that task, wizard, so it's not going to pull. So all you do is click on add service. At the very top, you enter the name of the rotation, put an abbreviation in. That's what's going to show up on the rotation schedule itself. Oops. You can just let it create a new service group if you want. Nobody's really using service groups the way they're set up to be used, so you don't really have to worry about it. You leave patient care mixed other. Don't worry about it. Trainees per rotation, you don't have to worry about it. Now the site. This is extremely important. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. These 3 sites right here, Hanneman Memorial and University, those are our main campuses, obviously. If you are doing a rotation at any other site on this list, you need a PLA. No 2 ways around it. You have to have a PLA. I think that's the easiest way to explain it. If it's not one of those 3 campuses, you need a PLA. If the site that this rotation is taking place at is not in this list, you need a PLA. So anytime somebody does do a PLA, I create a new site to go into this list. So it's there because the PLA attaches to the site attaches to the rotation, and everything cooks on the background. Let's see. If a rotation takes place at multiple sites, you know, you do, there's something going on at Memorial and University, or University and AdCare, something like that. That's possible. All you got to do is click this set multiple. You can have up to 4 sites on one rotation. It's going to ask you for a percentage of time the resident is there. That can be a rough estimate. If it's 2 different sites, I usually just do 50-50. That doesn't have to be super accurate, just a rough estimate, as long as it equals 100, obviously. So once you've got all that stuff in, don't need to worry about cost center, don't need to worry about scheduling method. Just click submit. And now you've got your rotation. Shows the name of the rotation, the site, and then that's that abbreviation that's going to pop up on your schedule itself. Let's see. What is my next slide? All right, so that's something else. I'm going to just show you guys a couple quick things within MedHub real quick. So like I said, I was doing this stuff for psych yesterday. I was working on their stuff. Okay, so I was going through there. These are all of psych's sites for their PGY 1s and 2s and their rotations. So here's one right here. Here's a good example. Linda had told me that this isn't going to be a rotation anymore. So I just called it delete. I just changed the name of it so that way it shows up on her rotation rollover list and it says delete. So she knows, let's just delete that one. If there are any rotations that you have that say the site is UMass Memorial Medical Center, that is not a site. I need to know where that rotation takes place. If you have any rotations that say physician office, that is no longer going to be a site. I need to know where that physician office is and do you have a PLA with it? So that way I can get everything cooking in the background and connected. Test is not going to be a site anymore. And And what was the other one? Conference away. That's not a site. So yeah. So please, if I've asked you any questions, you know, I need any clarification, I think, please get those back to me as soon as possible so I can get this cleanup taken care of, because, you know, there's obviously there's a lot of schedules, there's a lot of rotations. So if you can get that back to me, you know, if I ask any questions, please get those back to me as soon as possible. If you do not have a PLA for any of these physicians' offices or anything like that, that is a big problem. Because you're out of GME compliance and you're out of AC GME compliance. Heaven forbid that there's a malpractice suit against somebody that happens at an offsite place. They are not covered by our malpractice insurance, and they are going to be in trouble. So please make sure you're getting this stuff taken care of. This isn't just me trying to be anal. I promise. But it needs to be cleaned up. When you have a site visit, they're going to ask to see all of your PLAs for anywhere you rotate. If you don't have those, that's a big old citation. So there's a lot of consequences here. Please make sure you're getting me this information as you can. I think that was it with that stuff. So just going to finish up a few reminders. The annual GME anonymous evaluation,
Cassie, before we pivot, there was
Sure,
a
sure.
question in the chat that I
Oh,
tried
sure.
to answer, but I wanted to make sure that I provided the correct answer.
Sure. What do we got? So where can you add the new rotations? Did you see?
That was asked before you showed
Before I
that. It's the
went-
last
okay.
one. Yeah, you went over that. It's the last one from Cassie.
Yep, Bina, I know we need to talk. What if it's a UMass site, but not University Memorial or Hanneman? Depends on the site. Because yes, we have we have Health Alliance. That's a UMass site. We still need a PLA, but there are some UMass affiliated sites that we have a master affiliation agreement with. So that means we just need an addendum. So if it's like, you know, Clinton Hospital, Health Alliance, Marlboro, Melissa, help me out here. Anything else you can think of?
Milford.
Milford.
St. Louis,
We need,
and then the ambulatory surge center in
Yes.
Shrewsbury. Yeah. So we have a handful of those that are master agreements that just require that one-page addendum.
the addendum, and that the addendum template is in where all the other PLA information is. And that's really just filling out a form. Those are a heck of a lot easier than a PLA. You don't even need to put it into MedHub. You just need to fill out this PDF form, send it back to us for approval and signatures, and we just attach it to the master affiliation. Does you
Melissa? Is Harrington added to the?
Oh, it should be.
Yeah,
We don't currently have anything with Harrington because they are so new. So we would have to set up, I believe, a master affiliation. So that's something we'll all just need to discuss in GME, and then we'll reach out. We'll let everybody know, if you are going to be sending people to Harrington, this is what we need from you.
yeah, okay.
Now, does UMass Memorial Medical Center to be substituted with UMass Memorial Health? No, neither of those are sites. UMass Memorial Medical Center is an old site that we created forever ago when we first started MedHub, and we had no idea what we were doing. UMass Memorial Medical Center is getting removed. That's not even going to be an option anymore. The only UMass sites available are if they say Hanneman, Memorial, or University after them. Those are the only UMass sites that you don't need a PLA with and that are available for you to choose. Memorial Medical Center is gone. UMass Memorial Health, I don't believe we have a site called that. So it's either University Campus, Memorial Campus, or Hanneman Campus.
The three that you showed on the MedHub thing,
Mhm.
it said UMass Memorial Health, and then right next to it, it said Hanneman University or Memorial. That's the part that I'm getting confused. You're saying,
Okay,
They
I'm
don't
sorry.
exist
I
anymore,
forgot that
but
I forgot
they
that it
are
was
there.
called healthcare. So
okay,
these three are the three you need to choose from.
okay,
This
Cool.
right here, I'm deleting as soon as I get everything cleaned up. It's not even going to be an option for people to choose anymore.
Oh, got it.
So these are the
Okay.
three, yeah.
Cassie, I have a question. The
Sure.
UMass Memorial MRI and Imaging Center, which is just above that.
Mhm. Yep.
This is supposed to be like, as I understand, is that the institution has leased the space from them, and our attendings and our residents are all working over there. So we are not required to have any PLA or any addendum. That's what I hear. So
That could be what you feel. I don't know if that's true or not, Melissa.
that is what Dr. D. Benedictus sent the email while doing our MSK, and that was what was approved. So that
Melissa?
So it's not owned by UMass Memorial. It's
space is leased by
separate
the.
business that you are leasing space in.
Mhm. So
Yeah,
I think I can forward you the email conversation, and just now it was approved for MSK. We are all our residents and fellows go over there, and for MSK.
is it our attendings that are
Yeah.
they're supervising, teaching,
Mhm.
evaluating?
Yeah.
It's not a mix of
No.
folks. It's all UMass Memorial people.
All UMass Memorial attendings, both at
Okay.
Shrewsbury and
We did
Memorial and
set it up.
Glen.
We did set it up as an internal. If we
Mhm.
had set it up as an offsite affiliated, then yeah, we would have needed a PLA. Now I'm remembering this conversation.
Yeah.
So
If you
this one-
send me the info, Bina, and I'll just review it.
Yeah.
Sure that
I'm
it's
pretty
all-
sure, I'm pretty sure that's correct then.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions about rotations before we move on?
I have a question.
Sure.
So for when we're adding, and I'm sorry if you said this already, Dr. Van Dyne was in my office for like 10 minutes, so I kind of
okay.
had to zone out. I apologize. When we're adding, like for this particular rotation that we have, AWH, Ambulatory Women's Health,
Uh-huh.
there are like 9 to 10 different locations that the residents go to for this one.
Then
So-
you might need to set up different rotations for each place. Because I saw your list and a lot of those look like non-affiliated, so you're gonna need PLAs.
Okay.
You're gonna
So-
need different rotations for each one then, because you can only add 4 sites to a rotation. Somebody had like 5 sites that they needed me to add and I was like, nope, that's not happening. MedHub only allows you to add 4.
Okay, so the rotation will be AWH, and then the site will be like, for example, EMK or.
So I would set up the rotation as like, hold on one second, like type it in as AWH dash wherever the site is, AWH dash whatever that site is.
Okay,
And
so
then
that's
add
the
that
name
site.
of the rotation, but the actual site
Mhm.
I'm putting as EMK or Baby Cafe or whatever. That's what
Okay.
I'm putting. as
Yep,
the
whatever
site,
those
correct?
sites are. And if that site's not in the list, that means you need a PLA because we don't have a site set up for it.
Okay, and then my next question in relation to that, what if it's like we have for AWH, we have residents go to like urogynecology at the Levine building? Do we have to set up
Is
a
that-
separate site for that?
Is that on UMass campus? Is that on
Yes.
Memorial University or Hanneman
It's on
campus?
Belmont. It's on here on campus, Belmont.
The Memorial?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you can choose UMass Memorial.
Okay, so even though it's a different department, as long as it's here in Memorial, I can choose.
Yeah,
UMass
because it's
Memorial.
like, that's
big umbrella.
Memorial, even though it's a different department, it's
Big
Memorial.
umbrella.
Mm, Yep,
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, Cassie.
you're welcome. Anything else? I know this is confusing and weird and I get it. I understand. I do. A lot of this was just data we just kept moving forward because nobody had the time or the understanding of how to fix this exactly. And now I've been working with the IRIS people to figure out where the problems are and how to fix them. So I know it's a lot of work. I understand. And it's a weird time of year to be doing it. But thank you for getting them back to me and answering my questions. It's been helpful. And I promise you it's almost over. So again, just a few quick reminders. It's that time of year. The annual anonymous evaluation is going to be delivered to graduates, reappointments, and COPs. So that's every trainee that is currently in a program as of 4/3. Everybody's getting this hidden in the annual anonymous, and they have to complete it in order for me to release graduate certificates to your program. You have to complete this. So we used to do an exit eval for everyone graduating and COPs. That's going to change slightly. There's an alumni module in MedHub that we're going to start using this year. I've been working on it all year long, trying to get it up and running to make things, it actually makes things slightly easier. So the exit eval will now be a part of the exit checklist. There'll be a checklist of things that the trainee has to do and check off and complete and fill in information. And then afterwards, it'll go to the coordinator to check off that, you received their badge, their parking pass, their phone. And if you have any, exit duties that you want me to add on to this, I certainly can for just your program. I'm going to review that in much more detail at the next coordinator meeting because I still got a couple of tweaks I got to do to it. Make sure everything's hunky-dory, ready to go. So I will go over that with you all at the next meeting and have instructions and screenshots like I usually do. The interview season 22 to 23 match day evaluation has been sent to all program directors that had a match on Friday. If you are filling this out for them, you don't remember how to do it, go to fill out an evaluation for a faculty member, search for your PD's name. The evaluation should pop up. If you open up the evaluation, directions are attached to the evaluation. So you can go through there, pull that report from Eris, do your sorting, fill that all out. This was anyone that was in the match this Friday. And you interviewed this past fall. What was I going to say? This again, you need to do this in order to get your graduate certificates. Verification forms. All PDs must complete a verification form on any trainee that is leaving their program. This includes any change of program people. So if you've got an internal medicine trainee graduate, leaving your program and going to like cardiology or something like that, you need to have a verification form done by the home PD. These are all fillable PDFs. They can be completed, they can be done online, but they must be printed and physically signed by the program director. Can't accept a stamp, cannot accept a digital signature. It has to be physically signed. Then we scan it, you guys scan it and then upload it to MedHub in the GME folder only. It's the only place I want to see these verification forms. Do not just stick them in forms and files. Please put it in the GME folder. And the verification form can be found in MedHub, in resources and documents, either in director forms and files or coordinator job aids and resources. Again, all of these things, all four of these items are requirements for me to release graduate certificates. I will be putting together the graduate certificate requests in within the next couple of weeks. I'll send you all the form and everything that you need to send back to me so I can get certificates done and printed. Can't believe it's that time of year already. So yeah, I will have more information on the exit checklist at the next meeting. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, onboarding. Friday morning, I'm sending an email to all trainees with a welcome letter and some financial statement and some financial information, letting them know, hey, you're gonna get a link at the end of the later this afternoon for MedHub. This is where you go. Monday, I'm going to send an email to all of you with a link to the Google Doc, our Google folder that has every single onboarding document, everything that's in the MedHub onboarding package that we send to trainees. I'm going to give you guys access to, so you can see it. You guys really need to be the first line of defense with trainees. Because obviously we've got a lot going on. We've got 215 new incoming trainees between all programs, accredited, non, already matched Friday. So obviously we are going to be very busy, and I am just one person. Deb Rolo's handling all the licensing, and I'm handling all the MedHub onboarding, credentialing, employee health clearance, stuff like that. So please read documents. Please read emails coming out from us. We're not doing this just for funsies. We want to provide you with that information so you can answer any trainee questions. In the Google Doc, there is there's a document called Onboarding FAQs. It's a whole list of questions that Deb has collected over the past couple of years that she answers all the time, that we all answer all the time. Please start with that. We're not going to be able to stop and answer a million questions all day long. You may think it's just you, but it's you and all 50 other of you guys, plus trainees and everything. So it would be super, super helpful if you can try to field as many questions as possible. If you look through all the documents and everything and you're still unsure and you're still, questioning what do they need to fill out here, then ask us. But please take the time to look through the documents yourself, because we might not have the time and be able to get back to you in a reasonable amount of time. We've got a lot going on ourselves as well. I know all of you are onboarding people and you've got your own things to do, but we're just a couple of people with 215 incoming. If you look through anything and you do, like I said, if you do have more in-depth questions or stuff, obviously we're here to help, but we would appreciate if you could just be the first line of defense for us so we don't get overwhelmed as well. Onboarding, I think that's it at this point. You can follow along with your onboarding with how people are doing with their orientation package by going to, go to my dummy account here. So here we go. So this is what your trainee profile looks like. If you go to orientation, this is what we see as well. I mean, obviously it's a little bit more detailed for us, but this is basically the checklist of everything that they need to do or complete or fill out. All the instructions are available to them, very detailed instructions on what to do, how to go about completing things. The only thing the biggest thing you guys need to be concerned about is that resident and fellow badge form. If a trainee needs to upload a document, all you got to do, if there's a little PDF over here, click on that. And I mean, this was just a dummy, so I just attached something, but that's going to be that badge form that you guys have to turn in to get their badge. Please make sure you get their badges before orientation day, because people show up for their IS orientation and they don't have a badge. Security's not letting them in, and they need to attend orientation.
Cassie, do you have the high priority badge form there as well for anyone that's rotating through PEDS, or do you need a copy of that?
Want to send me a copy of that?
Yeah.
I only have the regular badge form that parking sends me. So what programs need that? Because I can put that in the orientation package. So only PEDS, NICU, whoever needs a high priority badge, shoot me an email if you are one of those programs that needs a high priority badge. Because I can
know
attach
PEDS,
that.
NICU, family, optho,
NICU.
anyone that rotates on PEDS.
Oh, so guys, shoot me an email. So PEDS, NICU, you said optho, family.
Mm-hmm.
Moni,
Job
didn't they
site.
change that last year? I thought wasn't there a change in something where it was only PEDS that needed it and not those other programs? Because I thought we had done it, we had set it up so that other folks would request it, and then I thought that we were notified that others didn't need it.
There's a new person signing off, and she wants everyone that comes through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
there's
So
a new
last year we may
person
have backed off, but now we have someone. who wants it
Yeah,
back.
there's been some changes in PD admin, and the nursing manager on the floor was like, nope, we need them. So
Okay. Yeah, so then Cassie will need the names of all those programs and then we can get it added here. And like she said, only those programs will see it.
Okay. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Frankie, you don't have one for ENT. Okay, ENT. I might not have added it because I might not have had the PD's name at that point. So ENT needs the diversity data. Diversity data. And then naming convention. Yeah, the naming convention for the verification form, when you upload it, just call it verification form and the graduation date. Yes. Do I add faculty or med to MedHub? Yep. Yes, you can do that, Frankie. And then child psych needs high priority. Okay. High priority.
And Cassie, did you say on the verification forms, we need a wet signature?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
just make sure I heard that right.
Yep.
Thanks.
Alrighty, so I think that's all I have for now. More to come. Please make sure you're reading your emails. There's a lot going on in the next, couple of months. Please make sure you're reading your emails. Anything that we're sending out, we've taken our time trying to make sure we're giving you the best information in the, shortest without like sending you huge, long, ridiculous emails. I know. You don't want to see long, ridiculous emails. I know. I remember getting those too and being like, what? So we're doing our best to keep it short and sweet and, not bug you too much. But there's a lot, there's a lot going on over the next couple of months. So just make sure you're reading, those emails, flag them, save them from later if you need to, print them out, stick them to your forehead, whatever you need to do. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, happy onboarding.
Thank you, Cassie.
Stop
We
sharing.
can pivot next to Deb Rollo. I believe you have some updates for the group.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Hi,
you.
everyone. Yeah, excuse me, I just wanted to update you on the license renewal status, how that's going. We're getting there. Thank you very much for pushing your trainees to get the renewals done. This year it's going pretty quick with the new process. I love it. I think it's going well. I still have maybe a little bit over 100 left to go. Some of them have told me that they're applying for a full license that's not approved yet. If you could just inquire on the status of those. Some of them are on hold for other reasons. I'll be reaching out to you shortly to see if there's any more status on those ones. I'll be sending out another update tomorrow to let you know exactly where your trainees stand. Once their renewal is approved, what happens is the trainee submits their renewal application. It comes to me. I need to review every single renewal application and submit it to the board and pay the fee. I've been receiving a lot of the change of program renewal applications without the supervisory evaluation form already uploaded. When your trainee's completing the application, there's directions within online that there's a button that they click to upload the supervisory evaluation form, which is pre-populated with their name. Then what they do is they sign it digitally, save it, and then email it to their PD with instructions for how the PD or coordinator can upload it to their application. That would be helpful if it was already done. If not, once it's submitted to me, the trainee cannot get those instructions and send it to their PD once it's submitted to me. So I have to either reject it and send it back or receive the supervisory evaluation form from the coordinator or from the program director, where I will upload it into the application. The board will accept it each way. I've been having to email coordinators for those documents. If they're already in the application, when it comes to me, it just makes the process a little bit quicker. But either way, it's new to all of us. The trainee, just answers their questions, submits it, and it's fine. If I do get it without it, it just will take a little bit longer. But once I submit the application to the board and pay the fee, if there are no yes answers, no extensions needed or anything, it's approved as soon as I hit submit. So I am notified right away that that application has been approved. I have access to their application and I have access to their new certificate. So if the trainee also receives that information, and they have either been sending me a copy or you have been sending me a copy, you don't need to do that because I have access to it as well. So that'll save you a step in time. You don't need to. My plan is once I get, right now I'm concentrating on submitting the applications. I am updating the spreadsheet that they are approved. The certificate and the renewal applications will be uploaded to MedHub as time permits. I have already started saving them, but again, this is, close to 300 of them or so. And that just takes a bit of time. So you don't need to upload to MedHub. You don't need to change the expiration date. I'll be doing that. It's just not on the top of the list. I want to get them renewed first. Are there any questions that you might have now that the new process has already started? Anything that you're not quite sure about? I know I think it's going well. I think the board is on top of things. The initial limited license applications will be starting shortly, which is going to have the board not as responsive and approvals will start taking a little bit longer. So just once they start getting hundreds of applications from all the institutions to onboard all the new trainees, it will be slowing down. So the due date I have for the license renewals is April 1st. I still kind of want to stick to that. That gives us all of next week. If we can get the renewals all done, then I can switch my concentration to reviewing the license applications for the new ones coming on. So that if you could just give them a little bit of a push, you'll see where they all stand. Tomorrow I'll send out the update. I'll try to do it in the morning. And that way, if your trainees have time over the weekend to get it done or whatever, if they have some extra time, just give them a little push. Any questions? With regards to onboarding the new trainees, MedHub does not include initial limited license applications within MedHub and their onboarding package anymore. If that process is now online, the only thing that's included in MedHub is the detailed instructions on how to apply. I will be initiating an invite to apply to all new incoming trainees at the beginning of next week. Once Cassie assigns the onboarding package, I will be able to get a report and the list and emails and all the information that I need to initiate an invite. That your new trainee cannot apply for their limited license until they receive a special code that will be provided to them directly from the math board. But all those instructions are in MedHub. If you get reached out by your new trainee, when can I apply for my license? Let them, most likely they'll already receive the invite from the board because I'm planning to do that Monday. If not, it'll be within a few days. But the first step, what they should do is print out the detailed instructions on how to apply, because I have included special tips. Certain questions are answered the same way for all new trainees. I have that, if they have to check a box that they're already enrolled in Mass Health and Medicare. That's in the instructions. I have highlighted tips that'll make it easier for them. If they can print that out, read them completely from beginning to end before they even apply, it'll be extremely helpful to everybody. So that's my only tip for you guys. Any questions on any licensing stuff? All right, well, thank you so much for all your help.
All right,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. If there are any questions, you can put them in the chat. The next thing I have is, Meg, did you have updates on scrub items, on like the scrub orders, or am I making that up? I could be.
For the new incoming?
Yep.
Yep, so that'll go into the onboarding packet.
Okay.
I did have a quick question about scrubs. The scrubs that we get, if we get them through GME, those, do the applicants, I mean, the residents get to keep those, or those are returned?
They keep.
They keep them.
They keep
Yep,
them?
they keep
Okay.
'em.
Okay, great.
And we also order new one. If they're in a program that's over 3 years, they are actually eligible to order new ones. So
Yeah,
they
ENT is
go
5
on the
years.
list along with the change of program orders.
Okay,
So say they go from internal medicine to cardiology, they're eligible to get new scrubs and new lab coats if needed. Because
okay,
we always
great.
want them to look really nice and, keep their white coats white and,
Thank you.
yeah.
And we, if you order lab coats and scrubs through GME, they cannot be laundered. There are services out there, certain programs, like I know anesthesia uses a certain service to order their white coats. They don't order white coats through us, they do it through this service. So that way they can drop their white coats off and have them laundered and get new ones. They basically like rent them. So that's a possibility. With such a small program, you might not want to do that quite yet because it can get a little pricey. And then if you want them to use the scrub machines, like, oh, if you in the ORs, this is not just for Frankie, but for everybody. If you want your people to use the scrub machines, you don't need to order scrubs from us. You need to set up with the scrub machine people. And there's instructions on how to do that in MedHub. In, I believe, the onboarding folder in the coordinator job aids and resources. I just happened to see that the other day. Forgot that was in there because it's a pain in the butt to set up for scrubs. Ask Dave DiMarzio. He figured it out.
Because OR will not let you use other scrubs other than the ones from the machine.
Yeah. If you're going into the, if your people go into the ORs, you have to use the scrub machine.
Okay.
So I will say that whatever your programs, when we sent out that program selection survey or chart and asked you to review, that's what we're using. The survey is already set up in MedHub in the onboarding package. So whatever you told us before, that's what we're doing. We're not unable to make any changes to that for this year. And I know Chris Ito, I think, responded to Megan and said that he, you guys will be using the lab coats and the GME scrubs for this year. So we did factor that in to the survey. And then Megan, is there anything for the chief resident lab coats? Are we good with that? Are we waiting for anybody?
So I think we're just waiting for a handful of people, so I'll pull the information and reach out to everyone individually if I need them to.
Yeah, so our vendor has asked us to try and get things moving a little bit sooner than we have in the years past, so that we have our lab coats and scrubs, in advance of July 1.
This is what the trainees will see in the orientation package. They just have to download this document with all the instructions, the sizing guide and everything. And then they just need to click on the survey, the link, and it's going to go to something. One moment, please. There we go. So only the programs, I'm able to send documents to just certain programs in the onboarding package. So only the programs that say that they order lab coats and or scrubs will get that document. If your program does not, they won't even see that document. They won't even have to worry about it. But they just fill out the order, choose their program, and then they, on the next screen, it has the sizing guide and everything like that and how many they get and things like that. The due date for that is 4/7.
So I will also chime in and say that my group, we use the GME scrubs, but because every once in a while, like if they're rotating with GI, they may have to go down to the OR. I also sign them up for the ScrubX one so that they can use it in that moment where in the OR, they only accept the ScrubX ones, but for the most part, they have the GME ones. We also use them at Memorial when they're going to deliveries. So that's something that, I just sign them up for that, but they do still get the GME ones. And Frankie asked about embroidering. It is my understanding that you can, and I've had things embroidered on the back end, like after I receive it, but not through GME. GME will not get everything embroidered. There's just too many for them to track and follow up on.
No, that's what I meant. Like if we could take them and get them embroidered and stuff. Okay.
Yep,
That's great.
We do get the cheap lab coats embroidered, but that's the only thing we embroider.
Okay.
One thing I do remember from last year, all of the scrubs and lab coats are shipped directly to your department. And I know a lot of you are working remotely, some are back part-time. It is important once they are shipped to open the boxes right away. There were some that the boxes sat in the office till July 1st and then they were wrong. They weren't opened until the week before and it was too late to have them fixed. So it is important to open the boxes right away, make sure everything's there and sizes are correct and everything.
Yeah, and this year the scrubs are not one size top and bottom. They can, order a small top and a medium bottom. So you're going to have, pairs or sets. I don't think that they're going to come in the same package. You're going to have all the tops and then all the bottoms. So you're going to have to put them together. So Megan, I'm thinking that we might have to print off the size chart, the answers or the responses by program so that they'll be able to put those together for people.
They have in the past added the packing slip within or the order form within the box. One year, I think they put it on the front inside underneath the tape. So a lot of coordinators didn't know it was in there. So definitely check the outside of the box as well. I believe we do ask them to put that order form in each box so you're able to match them up and check them.
Okay.
So
yeah, we'll make sure that we should ask Trippy that, Megan, just to make sure that he's going to print those off and put them in there.
Okay.
Yeah, Diana Bernstein saying they've always used Trippy's, which is our vendor, to embroider their name and department on the lab coats they get from GME.
All right, so we have about 15 minutes left. The next thing I have on my list is, Melissa, I don't know if you had any updates for us.
Yeah, so I'm just getting the Google Drive up and running this year for orientation and onboarding documents and information sharing. I sent out an email to everyone, I think last week with the link. It is a different folder this year. So if you had something bookmarked for 2022 orientation and onboarding in the Google Drive, just make sure you delete that link and go into the new drive folder and bookmark that so that you'll be able to access it easily. As Monique mentioned in the beginning when we were going through the feedback, the emails will be shorter with sort of just bullet points and links taking you to the information that I'm going to be uploading here. Thank you, Cassie.
Mhm.
One of the documents in the onboarding package is asking folks to complete a short survey about what CME courses or certification courses they are going to need. There's a form that basically is from MedStaff Services that says by program, what is required. That is what GME will pay for. So they should use that as a reference. And this is going to help iCells just plan accordingly for the number of people who need BLS, ACLS to make sure that we have enough space, rooms, instructors. So they will do that. And then as always, ATLS, the one course that we offered during or prior to July 1 has a 20-person cap. So every year it's sort of a challenge to decide which 20 people across the several programs that need ATLS will go in that slot. And Cassie Wamister, not to put you on the spot, but last year you stepped up and helped sort of be the gatekeeper for that and worked with the programs. If you're willing to do that again, I am looking for a volunteer that can sort of work with those programs who need ATLS and make sure that I have a list that is the 20 people that need to be registered during that time. And I can provide that to Cheryl Moore in iCells, and it's very helpful to her so that people aren't registering that shouldn't be, or we haven't already agreed to be in that class. There will be courses offered after July 1st. I know EM goes, I think, maybe like in the middle of July, but the ones that have priority for that are the ones that are on the trauma rotation right out of the gate. So if they're not going to be on a trauma rotation, your program should be thinking about whether they can have them go later in the month of July or August.
And also with the training with this stuff, coordinators have to register their folks themselves, and we'll provide you with that separate link. Because right now you can go to the iCells website, click on it, register people. That is not how you need to do it for your new incoming. iCells is going to provide us with a separate registration page.
Yep, Cheryl's given me the instructions for this year on how to register your folks. So as people are answering this survey, I will provide you guys a link so that you'll be able to go to the responses that are coming in, look at your program responses, and know that people have answered the questions. And then you'll be able to, once you know you have everyone, you can start registering them for the courses that they need. And that cost center that you use to use for like the retrains is the same cost center you use for this, but it'll be specified in there of what field that needs to go in. It's very important that the trainees don't register themselves. If they go in and try and register and pay with a credit card, we can't refund them. So it's just important that you're capturing the information and then going to do all of the registrations for everyone. Cassie and I.
There's a question about if the screen that was up with the requirements was up to date, because family medicine also needs PALS and it's not listed there. I wonder if they maybe don't need it during orientation, or are they? No, family medicine is up there with not needing PALS. So that's.
Melissa?
Oh, I don't know.
They do need it because some of them start off.
Yeah, they do it.
Rotation.
I can update it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fix it.
Yeah, MedStaff Services reviewed it and said that it was up to date. So, but no, you're correct. Family medicine does do, and I mean, this is an old chart, you can tell, because it's not even called family practice anymore. It's family medicine.
I'll fix that right now.
So yeah, so we can get that fixed, Cassie.
Yep.
Right
now.
It has been a challenge to work with clinical IS, trying to get meetings set up, get this process kind of kicked off on how we are going to manage all of these moving parts that are part of the IS training for the new people coming in. Cassie and I had a couple meetings yesterday. Bigger meetings will start sometime in April, and I'm optimistic that things will go smoothly. There's a couple little changes that are gonna create a lot of extra work for our office, but you know, there's not a lot that we can do in that regard. There's compliance issues that we also have to be respectful of. So the biggest thing for me right now is getting you guys at least tentative schedule that shows you when your folks are going to be scheduled for the IS training. We will not know how many people are going to need the full day training versus the condensed training. So again, this year they're offering the amplifier option to people coming into programs that will use the ambulatory inpatient modules, the surgery module, or the emergency medicine modules. So if they have prior experience with Epic and are in those programs, or we need those Epic features, they would complete that survey, and then IS trainers will review their comments and their responses, assign them the amplifier module where they go in and basically answer questions, go through exercises to demonstrate their ability to work in Epic, and it may qualify them to do a condensed training. So at least if you know in internal medicine, you know, the inpatient ambulatory training day is on June 22nd, you can sort of plan around that, knowing that some of your folks are going to be in the full day training from 8 to 5, and other folks might just be in it from 8 until noontime. So my goal is to try and get you that the beginning of April. So after our meeting yesterday, you know, it's definitely on the radar. Everything else is already confirmed. So I had sent you guys an email about a month ago, I think, just sort of saying the dates of the GME specific activities, the dates of the certification classes. Those are all confirmed. The only thing that we're waiting on is IS to build in their training dates. July 1st will happen for training. So we will be hosting the fellows on July 1 and the PGY2s. We're still working out some of the logistics around that. I will probably be sending a short Google form to program directors in the next week to just check to see. I mean, I know everyone's going to say, yes, we want our people trained on July 1st, but we really need to try and prioritize, because it's likely we're only going to have 3 rooms available to train people, and we're not going to be able to get everybody trained on July 1. So we are going to need to know if people are planning to schedule the fellows, and if there's any flexibility in having them moved to, you know, July 3rd or July 5th. So as more information becomes available, I'll keep you guys updated. And I think that is it for now. What Cassie's showing you is last year's folder. So eventually the New Year's folder is.
This is this year's.
Oh, you've added all, this is the onboarding package, right?
Yeah, this is the onboarding.
Okay, so yeah, so we have a separate folder for the documents in the onboarding package, and then more of the general stuff will get placed in this this first view, but we'll create folders if things you know, get too busy. Yeah, so hopefully, you know, you'll find that this setup continues to work well for managing all of the information. And as always, send questions if you have them. I'm happy to help you. And anything that I'm glossing over for now that you might have questions about, feel free to ask. In this main part, I will do the same thing I did last year, where I'll have a sheet, an info sheet for each area. So for employee health, for HR onboarding, IS training, there'll sort of be a summary sheet for each piece, and then any of the documents and other resources that might be helpful will get placed here. We're working, there's a new person that's handling the cell phone distribution at the IS training, where it's programmed for them and they receive it for the first time. And we'll also be handling the return process. So for your folks that are leaving us on June 30th, information will be coming out about how we're going to manage the returning of the cell phones this year.
Just a quick question that popped up in the chat. Linda asked, when do the new incoming people have access to MedHub? They will be, like I said, they're going to get the link to the onboarding package tomorrow afternoon. They will only have access to that portion of MedHub. They will only be able to see their onboarding package until the day of their IS orientation. The morning of their IS orientation, I turn them on in MedHub so they have access to their resident profile, training histories, contract, like a normal trainee would. But until that day, the only part of MedHub that they have access to is the onboarding package. They're not an active trainee in MedHub yet.
How do they log into a MedHub then?
They don't log into MedHub. There's
They
nothing.
just go to MedHub and it'll be there?
No, they need to use the link that's sent to them
Oh, okay.
to do their
Okay.
onboarding package. That's
Okay.
the only thing that
Thanks.
they can do. They won't be able, like how a normal trainee can log into MedHub, they don't have that access yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
So, but if they need to go back to their onboarding package, check something, you know, they need to stop and start, fill something else out. They just need that link that's in MedHub.
Okay.
Tina asked if it's possible for a coordinator to attend the MedHub onboarding training.
MedHub
Tina, do you mean
onboarding
with our new
training?
people, with our new people when we do
No,
with coordinators?
I was gonna, there isn't quite a MedHub
there is.
onboarding
There is.
for the trainees.
There is. I go to
That's the
IS, I
GME
go,
one, right?
I go to clinical IS training when they're assigned their IS training for Epic IS. I have like 15, 20 minutes in the morning with them where I walk through downloading the app, how to use the app, why you have MedHub, how to, you know, where you can find everything. I do highly recommend that you have your own orientation with your trainees on MedHub as the coordinator, you know, explain duty hours. Because like I said, I'm getting 15 minutes and I'm getting rushed. And most of the time is spent, okay, go to your iPhone. Do you have an iPhone account? Download the app. Like most of my time is taken up doing that because Clinical IS refuses to download the app for them automatically. That's a whole other myth. But there is in the coordinator job aids and resources there, I believe it's in, is it here? There's I have to find exactly where I saved it, but there is like an orientation that I had created for trainees, for coordinators to give to trainees. So, you know, walk them through how to do your duty hours, evaluations, you know, what frequency do you guys deliver evaluations, where to find your rotation schedule. Most trainees come to me asking, where's my malpractice? Where's my license? That's on you guys to show them where to find that stuff. We shouldn't need to provide that to them. It's in MedHub. They can get their malpractice, their license, submit an LOA, find the policies. Please, please, please do an orientation with your trainees, half hour, just to kind of walk them through what it looks like. I know I have slides in here for it. So if you want it, dig around coordinator job aids and resources. I think it's an onboarding in there or onboarding orientation. But please build something into your own orientation about that. Cause I only get 15, 20 minutes with them during clinical IS and most of it's using the app.
Yeah, Cassie, I think that didn't we build in something to the GME orientation last year too, where we sort of showed
We talked
some
about
things.
it, but I don't think we did because I did it with clinical IS. Because
Okay.
I was going to see everybody at clinical IS. I went to every single.
I think, yeah, maybe it was just certain things I touch on, you kind of showed where they are in
Yeah.
you know, if we were talking about leave of absence and how you do that, you know, we sort of tried to help point them in the direction, but I think it is a good idea to have a more directed training with them on what your expectations are for how they are going to work and use MedHub.
Yeah, because I give them the 50,000 foot view. You have to do duty hours, evaluations. Here's the app. That's pretty much it. So please make sure you talk to your trainees because you guys might have your own, you know, forms and files. show them where the policies are, show them, you know, how to go through putting in your duty hours, those kinds of things. Because you guys might have your own particular stuff within MedHub. So please try to set something up with your folks.
Garutzi mentioned that she struggles, and I understand the struggle, giving guidance to fellows and faculty because we don't have that view. Before we continue, I do want to acknowledge that we're past time. So there's a couple of quick things I want to mention so that those that have to jump off can jump off. And then if you want to stay on and maybe we can continue this conversation. Is that fair, Cassie?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So, I mean, the quick things I want to mention is I want to welcome with a warm hug a couple new coordinators. So Melissa Greenier is our new coordinator, and she's doing cards, and Da Silva Kima, welcome. And she is working with general surgery. So a warm welcome to you guys. If you need anything, I'm sure you've already met with GME, but don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us on the call. We would gladly help you. And it's wonderful to virtually meet you and to hang out with you guys. So that was a quick announcement. And then the other thing that I mentioned briefly is that David DiMarzio is on the Coordinator Advisory Committee. So I just wanted to make everyone aware that he will be joining us. And if you have questions or anything like that, he hasn't quite joined the meeting yet, but pretty soon he'll be up to speed and he'll be able to chime in. Is that fair to say, David?
Yeah, I'll be at the next meeting and glad to be here.
All right, thank you. And then the final thing was, I know we had originally scheduled an outing today at Tavern in the Square. Unfortunately, we do need to cancel that. And we will reschedule something. We're thinking of doing something on campus with some food if possible. We apologize profusely. Part of the reason why we need to cancel is that it wasn't on everyone's radar and people's calendar. So for that, we apologize. That was a misstep on us, but moving forward, we'll do better. So I will be sending out an email as well, as I know there are only 30 people on this call and others may be planning to attend. So thank you. Any questions or any follow-up, then let us know. And let's pivot back to the question. There may be slides. So Cassie, I'm not sure if you saw it. It's in the chat. Garutzi asked.
So when it comes to seeing the resident view, so the tough thing with that is like I have a resident view because I have a resident account. Unfortunately, I cannot make a dummy resident account for every coordinator because the way we get charged for MedHub is per resident account. So we only have a few resident accounts. When it comes to, you know, specific things, especially like duty hours, you know, for your orientation, I do have, when I set up the whatchamacallit, what's the word I'm looking for? The slides for your orientation, I did take it from the resident view. So where is it? Let me see. It's not in there. I know I have it somewhere. Red as MedHub resident orientation. Here we go. I knew I had it in there somewhere. So this is what I present at the clinical IS. And this is what the app looks like. Again, it's because I have a resident account. I'm able to log into the app and show them this stuff and how to do. So you can always take these slides and use this. This is how to do duty hours, what it looks like on the evaluation side. This is just the app specifically. Let me see if there's anything. Oh, and then I walk through how to use the website, what's in there, you know, how different areas and things like that. What I would recommend is taking the slides. This is a PDF, so I'm sure I have the slides somewhere else. If you want to take that and edit it for your specific things. You know, if you would like to see something specific, let me know. And I can probably grab you some screenshots. It's not going to be instantaneous, but if you let me know if there's anything in particular that's not in here that you need to see to do your orientation, let me know. I think I grabbed pretty much everything you need to kind of at least get them started. You know, during your orientation, if you want to have a current trainee log into their MedHub account, so you can kind of walk through it with your new incoming, have a current trainee with you to say, you know, this is how I do it. This is how I see things. That would be helpful as well. You know, like I said, I do go through a lot of stuff that morning with them. I do the best that I can. It's pretty quick. I don't get time to, you know, sit and answer questions, which why I really stress that you guys do this as well, just to kind of reiterate, you know, where to find things, how to find information. I'm actually probably going to have to double check through a lot of this. Yeah, because moonlighting, that's not Deb Rulo anymore. Again, duty hours in the site itself. Yeah, that's it. So I know it's tough not having that resident view. I understand. Can you send the PowerPoint you have a do down list from MedHub? This is the PDF of the PowerPoint. Pretty sure I have the actual PowerPoint somewhere if you want the PowerPoint itself. Yeah, because this is just the PDF that you can download. Where is it? Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
PDF.
Cassie,
So
when you get a minute and, you know, you're all free time. Would you kindly send it to me, the PowerPoint one?
I will, I'll shoot it out to everybody.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks so much.
MedHub orientation. I'm sure I have it somewhere. I just gotta remember where I saved it myself. I'll see where I can, if I can dig it up.
One last thing before we end, we just want to congratulate 2 of our coordinators who have made moves recently, and we're happy that they chose to stay within GME. So Frankie Guzman has moved from the Memorial campus right over to University, is the new coordinator for otolaryngology, which is a brand new program. It's going to be really exciting for her to start that and watch it grow up to its full complement of 5 residents.
Forgot I wasn't.
And she leaves OBGYN. She was doing the fellowships over there. And then also Cassie Wamister, she left the University campus and bounced over to the Memorial campus and is now the coordinator for Family Medicine Worcester program. So she's got a big jump too. She went from a smaller residency program up to a residency program with 36 trainees. So you know she's up for that challenge, and I know they're pleased to have her over there. So we're really happy you guys, you know, are continuing on professionally and doing new things, but staying with us in GME. So congrats.
All righty.
Thank you, everyone.
Didn't realize I wasn't sharing this while I was scrolling through it. So sorry. But that's what it generally looks like. Like I said, I'll find the PowerPoint of this, but this is the PDF of the PowerPoint. So and I'm drafting an email to you all right now. All right. I think did Monique have to hop off? Okay, I think so. So that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, we're here.
Great. Have a great
Thank
day,
you all.
everyone.
Good job, guys. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Have a good
And,
weekend.
this recording will be up and saved shortly. Thanks. Bye.